Ugh, I just cannot seem to get this game out of my head. I haven't been able to sleep well in weeks. This is horrible. I don't understand how Bad Rats has had such an effect on me. I need to, purge it. I need to get it out of my head. Vermintide. This looks interesting. I've always been a fan of the Warhammer universe, and I guess maybe it'll be something that, I don't know, something to get my mind off of it. Who knows? Look, you're gonna have to give me a little bit of slack for being a little bit late to the party on the Vermintide ones. I'm not gonna lie to you. When I heard of a Left 4 Dead style first-person game with the Warhammer license, I wasn't exactly super stoked. Those aren't words that immediately lend themselves to a good game. I mean, there have been a lot of really shitty Warhammer licensed games lately. So much so that I'm starting to wonder what the actual qualifications are for getting a Warhammer license. Oh hey, a license to make a Warhammer RTS. And as such, it kind of flew under my radar for a long while. I didn't follow development or get into any of the early beta stuff. In fact, it wasn't until an awesome member of our little community here named Jwak got it for me as an early Christmas present that I actually gave it a shot. By the way, super special thanks to Jwak on this one. If it weren't for you, I'd probably be talking about some stupid multiplayer shooter right now. Shorty, you the best. So as I said, Warhammer The End Times Subtitle Tide takes place in the Warhammer universe during, predictably enough, the End Times. This was a fun little episode of Warhammer lore where Games Workshop decided to end everything and start all over again. Spoiler alert, the new Warhammer lore is kind of shit. The game kind of plays out in a Left 4 Dead style, where you take on different missions with up to 4 players in a multiplayer environment with some random elements throughout, such as what special monsters attack you, and when certain monster hordes come, and what items are going on. It takes place in the town of Uberstrike. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that one right, it's Uberstrike from now on. A little empire hovel that basically resembles any town in a generic European fantasy setting. But oh no, horrible ratmen called the Skaven are burrowing up from underground and killing everyone, eating people, and generally being little rat bastards. So you must take on the role of one of 5 unique characters. A dwarf who just does not give a single fuck, a horribly tortured sergeant, a pyromaniac wizard, a seriously racist wood elf, and a somehow even more racist witch hunter.
So many stairs. This will test your endurance, Lumberfoots.
That is our word. Lumberfoot is our word. You can't use it. That is our word. These characters participate in a bunch of missions throughout the town and try to save it from the Skaven threat, clearly unaware of the fact that in a pretty short period of time, Games Workshop is just going to reboot them all into Space Marines anyways.
Age of Sigmar is surely gonna save Warhammer Fantasy by making it into 40k.
So gameplay-wise, Vermintide plays out pretty similar to Left 4 Dead, as I mentioned earlier. Your motley little crew makes their way through varying missions with a variety of objectives ranging from pick up food and put it in the back of the cart, to pick up explosives and put it in a place, to hit a rat with your weapon, to all sorts of other things. There's some variety here, and the missions do generally feel unique, although over time you really start to see these same tropes pop up again and again in the game's roughly 8-hour campaign. Unlike its source material, other source material, Vermintide isn't divided into long campaigns, but a single storyline spread out over about 13 missions. These missions range from short 15-minute stages to big 40-minute adventures. Each of these missions have a number of different difficulty settings available, and additionally can have their difficulty augmented by picking up tomes and grimoires throughout the mission, which take up healing slots or reduce maximum health, but also grant additional rewards. It provides a good amount of replayability, and the missions themselves are actually kind of challenging. Even on the simple difficulty levels, we were getting trounced. These rewards are worth it though, as each character has item slots you can fill with gear, awarded for leveling up and at the end of missions. Each character can equip unique weapons for rat murdering, which gives every character kind of a distinct feel from the others. The Bright Wizard doesn't use ammo and must balance the use of their magic. The Sergeant strides into combat to attack in wide sweeps with his warhammer. The Witch Hunter has a lot more rapid firing as he just doesn't bother reloading, he just apparently has unlimited pistols. The combat itself is also a pretty solid departure from Left 4 Dead with a focus on melee combat, even on ranged characters. Ammo is limited, but hammers do not need to be reloaded. Combat is also extremely visceral in its feel. Attacks that feel like they should have weight have a stunning amount of weight. You can kind of feel the Warhammer bouncing off the enemy's skull as you crush his little rat body. Quick slices are swift and brutal, removing limbs or spurting Skaven gore all over the place. And the Skaven themselves are pretty interesting, fairly alive and real. The weak fodder clan rats and slaves will cower in fear as you mow through their ranks. Unique rats with different tactics, which are basically just the special zombies from Left 4 Dead, although they seem to be a lot smarter than their zombified counterparts, tend to try and find ends or cause serious problems with an unprepared group. Packmasters seem to make a habit of blending in with regular clan rats, only to hook a loner in, drag him into a corner, and suffocate him. Overall, the game feels like a refined and somewhat improved Left 4 Dead. It isn't perfect. The level of randomization and loot is ridiculous and needs to be addressed. As I completed the entire campaign, all 13 missions, and gained 11 levels, so 24 items in total, and only received one useful item for my character, it can be a bit of a problem. You have a forge, and you can melt down items you get, but you need 5 items of a lower quality to forge up to a higher quality item, and guess what? It's random what you get. You got a good chance of getting something else that's useless to the character that you enjoy playing. That said, the fact that I can manage to clear through the game with the starter weapons just kind of speaks to the game's difficulty and strategy, being more tactical than numerical. Dealing with threats is much more important than just sheer numerical ability to smash something's skull in. And that makes the game pretty enjoyable, even if you're not getting loot. I greatly enjoyed playing through the game's campaign. The story is kind of interesting, there's not much there, but you're really immersed in the world. The world does look gorgeous. It looks like this town in the Warhammer universe. And the Skaven feel like Skaven. Little cowardly ratmen coming out from their tunnels to kill and eat everything in their paths. All in all, Vermintide is a pretty faithful recreation of the Warhammer world with a pretty tried and true system that is mimicked really well. They did a surprisingly good job of putting together a fun game here, even if it is living in the shadow of another fun game from years past. Vermintide has surprised me. I was kind of expecting the same treatment that a lot of the other Warhammer licensed games have been getting recently, in that there is absolutely no regard for quality control. But at its worst, it's a pretty confident Left 4 Dead style multiplayer horde game, and at its best, it is an utterly fantastic multiplayer experience to try out with your friends. Vermintide, I would definitely recommend it, and I'm actually really happy I get to say that because I love Skaven. Also, mowing through hundreds of rats with a giant hammer is incredibly therapeutic. Well, thank you for checking out this video on Warhammer End Times Vermintide, a pretty fun little Warhammer licensed game. And another special thanks to Jwak for providing me with the game, getting me it for Christmas. You're awesome. Thank you very much. You're the best. If you've enjoyed this video or found it informative or whatever, feel free to like, subscribe, share, whatever. And, if you have anything to mention to me, feel free to leave a comment down below. I love hearing from you guys. You are the best. I clearly have the greatest fan base around. If your fan base, yeah, it's still weird for me to say that word. But thank you very much for watching either way, and you all have a great one. I feel much better.